Oh, hi, Leather Rokk here. You know that. Welcome to my live stream. So today you're going to have to bear with me while I reference notes. I am doing a stream all about COVID-19 and what appears to be evidence that we are having a spike. And I'm not too surprised, just judging by the behavior that I see out my window and all the unmasked people, all the lack of social distancing. And it seems like the COVID has come here. Oh, but let me take this mask off. The one thing that really I find annoying about these masks and earrings is they always get caught in the earrings. And that's why I hardly ever bother wearing masks. Bother wearing earrings, rather. I do wear masks. So, okay, according to now my information that I'm giving you, it was accurate as of 11 a.m. this morning, and I am filming on a Tuesday. And now, according to the World Health Organization, they had 37,867,739 people that have had COVID-19. And according to that, the actual number is probably much higher because not many people have been able to be tested. Obviously, the more people are tested, the more numbers we expect to go up. The deaths, they say, it is 1,897,736 deaths. And that is according to Johns Hopkins University. And they said that there are in USA, Johns Hopkins University says 7.8 million people have had the coronavirus, and they say there has been 215,089 deaths. Now, according to local talk radio in New Jersey, here are some statistics for New Jersey. We had 3 days in a row, we had 55 in Atlanta County, then 53, then it was in the 40s. Now, I'm going to be, if I seem a little bit scattered in my notes, I have all these notes written. I also heard a statement from our Governor, Phil Murphy, and he's just signed Executive Order 187 that involves indoor sports that have contact, that have medium risk to high risk. That is now allowed indoors. As far as some Atlantic County statistics, if I can even read, this is not. Now, yeah, in Atlantic County, there was 214,000 plus confirmed COVID-19 cases. Of those, there are 16,175 deaths. In Atlantic City, yesterday there were 51 new COVID infections. No, wait a minute. In Atlanta County, there were 51 new COVID-19 infections. There were 13 here in Atlantic City. So do keep in mind, they seem to be spiking here in Atlantic City and in Pleasantville. Also, I heard in Ocean County. Yes, I'm ready for the election. I already voted. I sent my ballot in as soon as I got it, but then I felt kind of bad because then I heard on talk radio that they had some lock boxes that went directly to the elections, and they say that most of them could be found right in front of police precincts, and there's a police precinct not too far away. And I would have rather taken my ballot to one of those, but you know what? I put it in the mailbox within not even 2 days of receiving it. So I didn't want to mess around. It doesn't make according to what I heard on talk radio, there are going to be no options for voting in person, at least not around here. So as much as I would have preferred to have done that, I went straight, stuck it in the mail, and I did that for my mother also. And of course, I had to sign something special saying that I was handling her ballot for her and stuff. And she even made jokes that I wanted to make sure that you got it in because, well, she and I are, some of what we're voting for is different because unfortunately she's not on a Trump train. But I'm very proud of my mother about something. If you guys don't know this already, one of the questions on the New Jersey state ballots is involving legal marijuana. And my mother, I'm so proud of her. She is voting yes. I guess because she doesn't want her demon spawn to get busted for it. So my mom is all right. Now, if I could only get her to be converted with all this, I'm making her listen to Rush Limbaugh most days. And I keep on hoping she's going to get red pilled. But you know what? I don't know. Now, as far as Amy Coney Barrett, I normally would defer to Trump's good judgment, but I am pro-choice, and her appointment does give me cause for concern. However, she is very well spoken, and she claims that she is not going to try to legislate from the bench. However, people did find some comments that she made a couple of years ago where she was saying that, and I don't want to misquote her, but she apparently doesn't think that Roe should have passed, and that just gives me cause for concern. If she is as religiously devout as she is, how can we know that she's not going to let that affect her decisions? Because all I know is if I was extremely, extremely devout and I had certain things, and let's just say it wasn't abortion, say it had something to do with cat killing. And I think I probably like cats more than I like people. I know how wrenching and angry and distraught I am whenever I hear of animal abuse. That's something that really bothers me. So, okay, I want to make sure that you posted your thing. Anyway, if it was about cats, I know how vehement I would be, and I would not allow anything to be passed that would legalize harming of cats. So I would just have to recuse myself. But then again, I didn't go to law school. I'm not going to be a judge anytime soon, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation. So, but I take just such a steady diet of talk radio anymore. I do my best to avoid exposure to music, partly because I don't want my own stuff. I don't want to get earworms of some of this other music, especially current music. But I noticed with the radio station that Rush Limbaugh is broadcasting out here in Atlantic City, he is on an oldies station. And sometimes the people that are programming the music, sometimes the music is going over and over again. And I'm sure that Rush doesn't have anything to do with it, especially if I think it's music from the radio station. But when I want to listen to talk radio, it's because I want to listen to talk radio. If I wanted to listen to music, I would listen to music. And if you hear the same music over and over again, it can really be annoying. It could get in your head when you don't want it in your head. And when you got your own musical ideas, you don't want to hear this other stuff. But let me look at this piece of paper that I'm referring to see if I can find some other statistics. But yeah, it does look like cases are going up. And just from what I observed, it just seems like it's only a matter of time that we get some indication that people's irresponsible behavior is going to cause problems. Now, I think I'm going to go into another room, partly because I don't think I need the lights to be shining in that grow room, and I don't think the neighbors need to see my mess. Come here, Tabby boy. And my cat's probably not going to come in here willingly, so I'm going to have to steal him because that's how it goes. So, and if you give me a second, I plug my computer back in, then I will go and grab my kitty. You've seen Cassie, but you haven't seen Tabby boy yet. But I really got to stick this plug in so it doesn't keep on pulling out. So give me a second while I grab my Tabby boy and watch for all the way down there. Look what I got. Oh, look what I got. I got a kitty. I got a kitty. I got a kitty. Oh, look who I caught. He was going down the hall. I think he was on his way to the other litter box or something. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I had you. You know, people, they want to see the cat. Do I like Halloween movies? Well, I really don't care for I really don't care for horror movies for the most part, unless they happen to be really, 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 really old stuff. The current kind of like certain genres I really cannot stand and will not watch, such as the torture porn kind of horror movies. Anything with extreme violence that shows torture and real disgusting things. I'm convinced that videos and movies like that will inspire a certain segment of the population who then will do things to people or animals and stuff. And I would not want that on my conscience. So, no, things like Saw, things that are very, very, very disturbing, are not my cup of tea at all. Oh, get it, get it, get it. Okay, I'll let you down. I don't want him getting on my bed. Uh, oh, okay. I'm at 95% of full on my battery wise. So I'm going to take this back to up against my wall so I can keep on talking. What, Jason? Is that the guy with the shield that's like a serial killer or something? I don't really like things like that. I don't like violent movies or things that I'm convinced can inspire people to hurt other people. I signed 2 petitions and read some things about some people that are running loose that have done some terrible things to cats here in the USA, and the fact that there are disgusting people that are willing to torture animals and torture people and stuff. So because there are people like that, I just assume I won't watch films that depict violence like that. And I don't know how successful I'm going to end up being, but any projects that I am in control of, I can promise you I'm not going to put out anything like that. And if I did anything like when I was a movie extra and stuff, in my defense, we very rarely get to see scripts if you're just an extra. And if you're a 5 lines or less actor, I always do try to get as much information as possible about projects that I've been in. And there have been projects that I have turned down because I didn't like the script. I would not knowingly and deliberately play a character that made me feel uncomfortable. And there have been times when I was cast for one kind of character, and they ended up changing their mind and they put me someplace else, and I wasn't happy about it. But by that time, I'd already signed the vouchers and I accepted the gig, and I'd already signed my advance paycheck, so I was kind of stuck. But no, I really want to be as much as possible in control of my legacy and my body of work and my collaborations and things. I don't want to make the world a worse place than it already is. So as much as I'm in control of my projects, I want to do so. I think that's why so many actors and actresses make their own production companies and things, so they can have some kind of control. Atlantic City, let's see, it rained all day yesterday. It was the nice thing about when it rains, the drug dealers don't hang out as much, except when they hang out right underneath my window and they smoke cigarettes. And if it's hot enough that I actually have my window open to get some fresh air in, then I get treated to their cigarette smoke. Of course, I had to call the cops at 4 o'clock last night because there was a little convention of 4 people talking very loudly across the street, and they seemed rather offended when I asked them to please move it on down the road, as if having loud conversations at 4 o'clock in the morning in a residential neighborhood is ever acceptable. And of course, when I complained, then they threatened me to come outside and we could settle it. And then I threatened to call the cops, and they told me to fuck myself. And so I did call the cops. And of course, I felt bad talking to the police dispatcher because I said, half the time when I call you guys when I'm having a problem, the people leave by the time before the cops get there. And I don't want the police to think that I'm wasting their time, because who knows how many people need them for different things. And there's only so many cops around, and there's more crime than there is cops. And considering that they're doing a job that most of us don't have the guts to do, and I sure know I don't. I mean, I cannot imagine the bravery that it takes to be a police officer, with especially knowing there's so many people that want to hurt the people. I still have no personal knowledge of the Palm, except I believe it is an Italian restaurant, and Italian food rarely does it for me. And usually Italian restaurants, you smell so much cheese in their sauces and things, and I really can't stand that too. So if I want to do make Italian food, like I can make a real decent spaghetti and clams, and you can look through my videos and you could see that I actually filmed myself cooking that. I don't. I've only made maybe 3 cooking videos. I intend to do some more, but only the things that I absolutely love, and they will be vlog style. Okay, well, I've definitely passed by Carmine's, because Carmine's, when they have those glass windows open, and it floods the quarter with like a pizzeria smell, and I that always any kind of cheese smell always kind of, it's like if somebody takes their shoes off and wears their bare feet in my face. It's the same smell, so I don't appreciate it. I have not been inside the Tropicana, by the way, since that last video that I made where I reported what they were doing as far as their safety precautions and stuff they've been taking as far as COVID-19 goes. That was the last time I was inside there. I have not been on the boardwalk since the last time. No, I beg your pardon. I was on the boardwalk, I think maybe 3 weeks ago, but I wasn't able to do anything about the footage that I shot because I am still live streaming from my Chromebook. Incidentally, Best Buy emailed me, and I have this UPS Your Way notification saying that I'm supposed to get my Lenovo back tomorrow. Now, I still don't know whether they actually backed it up. They said they were supposed to. They had me buy a flash drive. They said they would back it up in case the company fixing it did something that it would affect the hard drive, because I sure don't want to lose my data. But I'm not sure whether they even backed it up. And then when it was sent back because the hinge was broken, I just hope that they didn't do anything tinkering. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? I'm glad to see you guys showing up. See, I'm so glad I found out that doing live streams means that I can not only keep my filming schedule, but it's not actually eating up into my Google Drive data, which is why this Chromebook is used up. I keep on getting error messages. I still use this since I have working Wi-Fi now. I still use this for my different various day job things. Like one of my interesting day job things I'm doing, I believe I've mentioned that I take a lot of surveys, and there's different companies that pay you in gift cards and PayPal and different things. Well, through Facebook, that I have a real love-hate relationship, mostly hate actually. I got on a study about the elections, and they pay you in $4 or $5 gift cards, and they give you a choice of 5 different companies that you're willing to get your gift card in. And most people probably pick Amazon, but I chose Sephora. I'm one of one of few human beings, I've never purchased from Amazon in my life before. It doesn't mean I am averse to it. I can't spring. Oh, there's saltwater taffy all over the Atlantic City boardwalk. There is some, James Saltwater Taffy has a shop in Tropicana. They have a saltwater taffy shop inside Bally's. You can find saltwater taffy all up and down the Atlantic City boardwalk. I like chocolate. The thing is, it's kind of chewy, and it makes probably wouldn't be good for my teeth. But I'm a big chocolate freak. But what I really like is amazing ice cream. Like, I don't know if Godiva still makes it, dark chocolate hazelnut, but good ice cream has gotten so expensive anymore. And the only store I really go in, and I haven't been in a 7-Eleven since this pandemic started. No, I haven't tried Gordon Ramsay. I love to pass by Ramsay's. I love the way it's decorated. I love the bulldog motif and their British flag. And they have this real big mirror that you pass in front of that shows the British flag kind of etched on the mirror. And I've taken a lot of selfies in there. And I love some of the waitresses have these uniforms that are black and red plaid, and they look totally like something a punk rocker or a gothic person would wear. It's got some corsetry and some lacing up, and it's something I would totally wear with fishnet stockings and a garter belt and stuff. And they're just so cute. And if I could buy their little outfits, of course, I'm sure I wouldn't want to pay what they would charge. But yeah, I almost all the hamburgers they make at all these places, they all like to put cheese in them. And I don't do cheese, so I would have to say no cheese. But one of the best burgers I ever had was, believe it or not, from Burger King. One of my good friends given me a Burger King gift card, and I saved it for, because I don't do junk food very much, but every now and then I will treat myself. And I saved it for the last time I was in New York City. I treated myself to this amazing hamburger that had jalapeno peppers on it. It had barbecue sauce. It had avocado, and it had bacon, and it had lettuce and tomato, and it was so good. Oh my God. It was really, 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 I love avocados. I make real good guacamole, if I do say so myself. And I love hummus. You know, hummus, you can put hummus on a burger also. Uh, One of hazelnut. Oh, do they put hazelnuts in Twix? I heard that they have a bunch of different kinds of Twix now. I love Heath bars, and there's something called Rokka or almond Rokka. But I like my hamburgers usually well done, but I don't like it blackened. And then plus they say anything that's blackened that has any kind of charcoal on it, that can be cancerous. So you really should be careful. Like if you are putting toast in the toaster, scrape too much black off of it. My mother, it drives me crazy, is that she'll forget and she'll get distracted and she'll take out these charcoal briquettes out of this toaster and she'll like put whatever on them and she'll start to eat them. And I say, dude, that's carcinogenic. What the hell are you doing? And she's it makes like at my age, what difference does it make? But no, you don't want that. Oh yeah. Oh, I could never give up bacon. You know, I mean, if I ever lived on a farm though, and they had pigs, then I would probably get attached because I know when one of my good friends had a bantam rooster, and they had this chicken, nasty son of a bitch. They have spikes on them. If you've been around chickens, they have claws that are almost like spurs, but they're living, and they use them so that they can fight with other people. And they're very, very territorial. And they'll be nasty to human beings. They'll be nasty to other male chickens. And if you have them around other animals, the chickens, they know how to defend themselves. Well, when they had this chicken, what is Salsicci? See, you're throwing that fancy Italian on me, and I'm only going to be ignorant. Uh, but now, one thing I remember, if you've ever been to a place called Tony's Baltimore Grill, which is on in Atlantic City, it's on Atlantic Avenue, and that is a big hangout. They're doing takeout. I don't know if they ever closed. I think some places had to close for, and I don't know. I guess they must be doing takeout now, but my father really loved that place. And that's a place that he would get pizza there. And he would get half the regular cheese pizza and half with no cheese so that I could eat it. Oh, that's Italian for, oh, okay. You know, the best sausage I had recently, matter of fact, I'll tell you the, I have the label from it. Where is it? Oh, Cassie, I see you. This is the best. Oh, here. Cassie, I see you. All right. Here, I'm glad I didn't fall off my shoe. That would really suck. The best sausage I've had in a long time was by a company called 8L's, and it's teriyaki and pineapple. Now, this is a chicken sausage, and normally I like beef and I like pork. I like sausage that tastes really meaty, and a lot of times other meats that are made with chicken can be kind of sweet, but this stuff, first of all, a lot of times when you buy sausages that are all spiced up and stuff, sometimes you have to really read the ingredients and make sure there's not cheese in them. But this is like a teriyaki flavor. It's like kind of sweet and sour, but oh, it's so good. And what we did with them is I fried them and chopped them up, and I made fried rice with it. It was so good. You got kitties. Oh, that must mean a female cat wasn't fixed. Oh, I hope mommy's getting fixed. I was so upset this morning. I got up and the first thing, first of all, I didn't get that much sleep. I'm trying to get more sleep, but since I finally have my Wi-Fi working, I'm trying to work my day job as much as possible and eking out different internet tasks and things. And now I just found out that there is a new work at home site that is actually done by Amazon, and I learned about it on the Kim Commando show. And she said it's called the Machine Turks or something. And it's one of, on some of the other sites that I do work at home stuff on, you can do different tasks that apparently they need human beings for because artificial intelligence, computers and stuff still cannot do them. So they still need human eyes for things. But they say that these are very, very tiny tasks, many of which only take a couple of seconds. So they will pay as cheap as a penny a minute or something. I don't know that any casino workers are protesting. I I don't know. I know that they are trying to get more people to come back to work, and some people are afraid to come back to work because they are afraid of being exposure to COVID-19. I had heard that a couple of people came down with COVID that are people working at the Hard Rock Casino. Don't quote me on that. And of course, if people heard, but what I heard was they weren't people that were working in the casino part that is where all the public people are. I heard that these were people that are working in some of the areas in the inside of it where they have the dealers that are doing the, they have online gaming and they have special people that just deal cards on camera. And I heard it maybe, oh, oh, yeah, that's right. Hard Rock used to be Taj Mahal. My mother worked there for like 16 years. And I've heard many stories of when the Donald walked around. Uh, but anyway, if you, getting back to sausage, if you like a sausage that's different, I really recommend this. It is quite wonderful. For me to actually save a label on something, oh, that stuff was so good. But yesterday we had chili, and there's so many ways to make chili. I used to always complain that my mother never made it very spicy. And in one year, uh, I made some, and I made that kind of 5 alarm chili, and it was too hot. And so I learned that there is such a thing as chili that is too hot. But my mother was a cashier there for the longest time. She worked at the buffet, but then they had her. They moved her down to a Chinese restaurant called the Rim, which is right across from Mark Edis Arena. And a lot of times they got to hear some of the acts, uh, at least the last half of many acts that played there, and also the entertainment near the valet area. Sometimes the sound travels very loud, especially where my mother was seated. She got the acoustics are really interesting how they bounce around in the casino, and it really, that plus the din of the slot machines. A lot of casino workers apparently they really crave silence when they get home because you when you walk through the casinos or you're working on a casino floor, all you hear is a bang, the dang 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 of the bells and stuff. Oh, I don't do sour cream myself. I'm real funny with uh, milk products unless it's a really wonderful ice cream, and because of the calorie count and stuff, I don't do ice cream unless it's the absolute most wonderful. Um, Not all that long ago, I used to go to the dollar stores and get like barbecue potato chips and chocolate and stuff. I like espresso, but I drink it black. I just put honey or sweet and low or something in it. I know that supposedly the real way you're supposed to eat it, you're supposed to drink espresso. You're supposed to take a very, very fine sliver of lemon, and you twist so the oils from the rind float on the surface, and you're supposed to float this on the surface. At least this is what I heard when I lived in San Francisco. I got into espresso there because there are some bars that only have beer and wine and coffee, and I was always a mixed drinks kind of girl. And beer I never liked, but I've always been a coffee person, and this was before coffee started giving me problems. But there was this 24-hour coffee shop on Castro Street, which is the big gay neighborhood in San Francisco. And no matter what a person's lifestyle is, it can be a lot of fun for people watching. At the time, I had a roommate situation with a whole bunch of Gothic individuals, and we were almost like a family unit. There were 8 of us, and it was so much fun to sit in a coffee shop and watch the very interesting, colorful humanity. Of course, I hesitate to think of how San Francisco is now with the dirt on the streets and with, I'm sure, the political things going on. I have a feeling if I was wearing my Trump stuff, it would go over too well, even though I saw an interesting video from, well, there's a lot of people that I subscribe to on YouTube. There's a gay lady by the name of Ariel Scarcella that she has a video channel that's about, it's not just LGBT issues, but it's feminism in general and things that are of interest to women and people who care about women. And just, it's a whole lot of things that you like. There's a whole lot of things that I like about the channel that aren't necessarily just because of the subject matter. She seems like a really cool person too. And anyway, she had one of her latest videos says that at least 46% of gays are supporting Trump. And I think that's really interesting because I know for a fact that there are a lot of them among the Trump supporters community. I know that because, well, I talk to them on the internet, and I know the groups that Trump supporters have. There's all kinds of groups where we can talk amongst ourselves and not have to worry about people telling us how stupid we are, or why we suck because of our politics and stuff. Sometimes you want to be around your own tribe. But anyway, I know that I was very afraid to go to certain kinds of spaces because especially if I wore political things, because I felt that I was not represented at all, that if there were political booths, say at an Outfest or a gay pride or something, they would all be Democrats, and I would see these people that had all these nasty signs making fun of Trump and stuff. And this was also true when I was stumping for President George W. Bush. So, and I even heard that there are some places where people got beat up and stuff, and who wants that kind of negativity? So I just kept my politics to myself. But I felt really resentful because why should you have to be in a political closet, especially if it's a community that's all about being out and proud, and yet why should you have to keep your politics secret? That seems really ridiculous. But anyway, it's good to know that there is no one voting block, that people are people, and that you can have any kind of lifestyle, and that has no bearing on who you would vote for. And I think that's really important. Just like people are finding out that Black people aren't all Democrats, that you can't. No, I'm not a Democrat. I haven't been a Democrat since, well, I was technically a Democrat when 9/11 happened, but when I had to leave Los Angeles because the work stopped and I put my stuff in storage, came back to Atlantic City, and there I discovered Fox News Channel. And I'd already been a fan of Rush Limbaugh's, even though I first liked him more for his humor and his intelligence, and there was only certain things I agreed with. But I'm a social liberal. That hasn't changed, but I've always been a fiscal conservative, and I've always been very keen on subjects such as national security. I'm the daughter of a Korean War vet, so safety and security has always been very, very important to me. And as far as my socially liberal views, and I'm seeing that, by the way, as far as the pot legalization movement goes, and that is something that gosh, I hope it passes in New Jersey, but there's a lot of potheads that are Republicans too. But I am pro-choice. I can't see that changing. Granted, if you're 9 months and your baby's due next week, it's a little late to change your mind. But there is a lot of propaganda that's suggesting that pro-choicers are so bloodthirsty over killing babies that they just want to allow it with no restrictions at all, and that's not true. That's honestly not true, and it's very disturbing to hear those talking points being put out there. If I had to label myself, I really don't like labels because sometimes you have too much explaining to do with them. but I consider myself to be a moderate Republican. There are some people that would call me an almost liberal Republican, but I am only liberal on the social issues. I'm very libertarian in many aspects. I'm a live and let live person as long as what you're doing isn't directly bothering me or isn't really harming other people. Uh, uh, where I have, oh, and I'm, as far as the financial things go, I am very conservative. I'm very, uh, I guess maybe because of the way I was brought up. My mother taught me how to budget, and I was always very conscious of saving money. And it's something I've carried with me my whole life. And I think those are very important skills to have. And sometimes people find they don't need those skills earlier in life, but then something happens like this pandemic, and there's a lot of people that found themselves in an impoverished state that didn't have to deal with it before. And yeah, there is a political site. I can't remember the name of it, but there's a test you take, and they end up showing you a grid that shows you where your politics lie. And mine is very much in the center, top, but veering right. But it's an interesting representation of just how your politics lie, and it gives a nice visual thing. And it was a test that has been passed around on the internet for quite a while, and I think there's maybe a few different versions of it, but I've taken it. It's interesting to see, to have a visual thing that you can actually see how things are. You know what? I'm going to see if I could sit down. I know I have a fan going here, but it's a little bit more comfortable. And I'm going to close the door so that I don't feel that I have to watch what I say, because I'm conscious of the fact that there are people in the kitchen. So, what do you guys? Yeah, I don't like fascists either. And the sad thing is that these Antifa, they are fascists. Anybody that feels that they have no choice but to use violence to get their point across, or that the only way that they can get point across is to silence opposition. Now, granted, there are times when I feel like silencing opposition myself, especially if I know that disinformation is being spread. It gets really frustrating to hear otherwise intelligent people spouting off so much that is not true. And it's hard not to try to communicate the truth to them without sounding like you're being argumentative. And it's easy to understand why sometimes it's better to not get into politics, but if political things are very, 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 very important. Yeah, I agree. Ron Paul did have some good ideas. Um, he, yeah, he had some good ideas, but in some ways he seemed, I'm tempted to say, well, at the time I thought he was also a little bit of a crackpot. But you know what? I almost feel bad that I thought that, because compared to some of the things that are being said by other people now, it wasn't as crazy as what I'm hearing, especially with people like, I'm sorry, that the AOC, she's scary with this Green New Deal stuff. Uh, but that said, so many people are making fun of people for things that have nothing to do with their uh, actual views. When you feel that you have to make fun of people for their appearance and other things, then that's really not kind. Oh yeah, that was scary. Anybody that wants to go and plots to kidnap people and stuff, that was frightening. Of course, I don't think it was cool that the governor goes and tries to blame it on Trump's rhetoric. People do need to start taking responsibility for their own actions, even though Trump, and I say this in the most loving, fangirlish way possible, Trump has a big mouth, and sometimes he may go a little overboard, but I see a lot of myself in that. And you have to, or maybe because I like him so much, I make excuses for his behavior. Just like I would make excuses for my friends. if you like somebody, you want to see the best in them. So maybe things that might bother other people won't bother you because you say, hey, this person's my guy, this is my friend, so I'm not going to give him a hard time for things. Even when Trump was doing all that interrupting during the presidential debate that I didn't get to see, by the way, I only got to hear it on talk radio. Now, I tried to watch the vice presidential debate. It was on Yahoo News, and this was when I had just gotten the Wi-Fi turned back on. But I was trying to watch it here on this Chromebook, and this Chromebook is not as useful as a really good computer. And I notice if I have more than 3 tabs open, then the screen can jam. And so I have to be conscious of when I'm using this for my day job working. That's why I like having 2 computers so that I could do some day job tasks on one, and then things that are more graphics intense I can use on the Lenovo. Oh, I'm hoping that in fact it does get delivered tomorrow. It's supposed to be around 9 in the morning, and that's perfect time because it'll be before the people start lining up for all the free food that they distribute around here and stuff. And the people are not quiet when they're doing that. And sometimes you think it's okay, and you don't see. We don't have a peephole, and there have been a number of times when I thought that I was exiting my apartment, and here there are people leaning up against the door, and of course they're going to complain because I opened the door on them. But most nice most nice people know better than to lean up against doors. Now, if it was a business, they would have a sign saying it's an exit. But people, I think there's just too many stupid people. So let's see, what else do I want to mention? I have made another Wish order. You don't have to make a whole lot of things in an order when you order from Wish, but I wanted to get a couple of extra face masks. My birthday is going to be coming up on election day, and I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to be doing. However, since election day, my birthday is on a Tuesday, and Tuesday is one of my post days, I was thinking of live streaming on my birthday, and I'm thinking I may do more than one post that day because, well, because I can. I want to. I already did my voting, so I got that out of the way. There's going to be no reason for anybody around here to go to any of their polling places. Um, I don't know whether some friends are going to be coming into town or not. With this COVID and with everybody's job situations, I don't know what people are going to be doing. But I wanted to. I have never owned an espresso machine. I dated somebody in San Francisco that had espresso machines, and well, this was when I was drinking so much caffeine. I have really cut down drastically on my caffeine. I used to drink a couple pots of coffee a day, and then I would drink diet sodas, and usually they have caffeine in them. And I started having heart palpitations, and it was really scary. It was my father's last year, and so I cut down. Now, when I make coffee, I usually mix whatever coffee with some decaf, half and half. Uh, we actually ran out of coffee, so I've actually been putting instant in hot water. We had to really. Lavazza, I'm familiar with that brand. They have, I think they sometimes use Lavazza coffee in some of the coffee makers in some of the casinos here. Of course, there's some casinos don't have coffee makers at all in their rooms because they would rather you get expensive coffee on the casino floor or something. That's ridiculous. $3 for a cup of coffee. But then again, if you're going to Starbucks, how much you paying? But it's a much bigger cup, and it's better coffee, but it's like doubly strong. You could probably put an extra cup of hot water in it, and you wouldn't know any better. So, uh, when I think of Starbucks coffee, I usually think of Washington D.C., and I miss Washington D.C. so much. but because of COVID, I'm too afraid to travel. I normally be planning to go to Trump's inauguration, but I can't go this year because COVID is not going away. I'm hearing some talk that it may be a couple years that COVID might still be with us. I don't know how much longer we human beings can be expected to stay away from dance floors and things. There are still human needs to have contact with other human beings, and we're supposed to be staying away from everybody. Like, all you have cooties, and we have to stay away. And when I look out my window, I'm still seeing people hugging each other, and I am seeing more and more mask wearing. And on the boardwalk, I'm guessing over half the people are wearing masks. It's been about 3 weeks since I've even been on the boardwalk. Last time I was on the boardwalk was when I was coming home from getting my computer, dealing with them in Best Buy and stuff. And I, of course, had left the Lenovo there because its hinge was broken. But I had brought this Chromebook here back, and that was when at least I got the lesson on how to back up this Chromebook onto a flash drive so that I could still do something with the video footage that's on it. And of course, I'm going to have to wait until I get my Lenovo back, because once I have my Windows machine, then I can edit up. I will have so much of Washington, D.C. to show you guys. I really look forward to that. And I also made a video with a bunch of snippets using this Chromebook here that I will have to. Did I get that onto the flash drive or not? I don't remember. But anyway, that will be a video. It will be another Atlantic City boardwalk and casino video, especially with some seats inside the Hard Rock. I really like that place a lot. I got to see a Hard Rock hotel room that some of my friends got. So most of the footage wasn't as good as I thought it was, because sometimes I thought that I was filming and I wasn't. So I'm talking when I wasn't filming, and then when it wasn't on, anyway, what was junk I couldn't use. So I can't say for sure how good that video is going to be, but that is something that you guys can look forward to, because I know that some people deliberately look at this channel to see what's going on with the properties here, to see if it's safe, to see what's open, what have you, find how the weather is. So I really try to be informed, and when my brother's home, I try to find out from him what's going on. I don't find out from him directly. He tells my mother, and then I pump her for information. That's usually how I try to find things. But I may look into that espresso machine. Even though on days that I drink espresso, those are probably going to be days that I don't have coffee otherwise, because I really have to monitor my caffeine thing. So, I don't know that I'm going to do this as long as I have been doing this, because I find that if I touch on a whole lot of different subjects, then it becomes, you can't have a video that everybody is going to like, even though it would be great if it was. I think to have something that is mostly on one subject, then I think this might make more sense to people. So, but anyway, hopefully I will get my Lenovo back tomorrow. But I really need to focus on work as much as possible, because thanks to various utilities that we have, Comcast totally shut us off, except for the landline, for like 2 weeks. And now most of the other utilities are saying if something doesn't get put on, they're going to shut us off completely, and we don't want that to happen. We even had to give only a half a payment of the rent this month, but I think in a couple of weeks we'll be able to pay the rest of it. It's all dependent on whether my brother gets his unemployment. He had to file again for unemployment, and
there is always delay in that. I don't know why. I think some of it might have to do with the fact that technically the owner of the company that uh, sounds like a plan, the company that actually hired him when he used to deal cards for the people doing the home gambling. The company, I understand, was either Canadian or from some other country. I don't know. In different countries have different laws. Even though I thought that if you're operating a casino here in New Jersey, I thought that there are certain basic laws that everybody had to follow. But it's complicated in a way that I don't understand, and I get the feeling I'm not getting the straight story anyway. So I can't talk about what I don't really know. But I do know that they're wanting more and more people to come back to work, and some were afraid to. But as far as the casinos that I have actually been inside, now I haven't been to any of the marina casinos since the pandemic, but I really like how the Hard Rock is taking precautions as far as doing temperature checks, and you don't have to physically touch the hand sanitation things throughout the casino, and they seem like they are genuinely concerned about keeping people safe, and it's always good to know. I also liked how when you try to go into Caesars and Bally's, they had security guard that at least alerted your attention to the sign showing what all the latest COVID symptoms are, and discouraging people from coming in if they have said symptoms, and just help to make people aware. That's always good. It would have been nicer if they, in the Tropicana, if they wouldn't rely just on the honor system, if they would just tell people, because you shouldn't have to trust people. I mean, it'd be nice if we could trust people, but still, I'm sure when you're hanging out places, you want to make sure that you're not going to be exposed to something that you can catch. So let me see if I could find my kitties. Oh, I got kitties somewhere. Where's the kitties? Where's the kitties? I see Cassie. Hello, Cassie. How's my Cassie? Oops, I'm sorry. My Cassie girl. Oh, my Cassie girl. And then here's Tabby boy. Oops. Where's Tabby boy? Where's Tabby boy? Do you see Tabby boy? Tabby boy's right here. Okay, I'm gonna see my Tabby boy. Whoops. My Tabby boy. You see my Tabby boy? Okay. My sinuses are totally backing up, and I'm going to have to take a red pill and blow my nose and all that stuff. I don't want to treat you to that. So I'm going to end this. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe. I'll be getting Lenovo back soon, and I will give you much more exciting content than this. Thank you for bearing with me, and please stay safe. Please find yourself an N95 if you can. Be safe. That virus is real. Take care, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. My kitties, say bye-bye. Bye-bye, Debbie boy. Say bye-bye.